President Trump taking action against the radical left-wing group Antifa, designated the anti-fascist movement as a terrorist organization.
Now, Trump posting on Truth Social saying this, quote, "I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa, a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster, as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly condemning those that fund Antifa that they be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practice. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Now, Andy Ngo is a senior editor of The Post-Millennial and the author of Unmasked: Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy, and he joins us now. Andy, thank you so much for being with us. You've been hospitalized twice now, I understand, by attacks by Antifa several times. Tell us a little bit about that.
In 2019, while covering a protest in Portland, Oregon, where I'm originally from, Rose City Antifa and their allies and I would say co-conspirators beat me to prevent me from documenting their riot. They stole my equipment and in the process punched me several times on my face and head and kicked me to the where I fell partially to the ground. And some of them were wearing reinforced gloves that had hardened material on the knuckles so that each punch hit like a brick, literally. So I was taken to the hospital by ambulance, and there was a brain scan. I had a brain bleed. So I nearly died from that, and I spent 6 months with various types of cognitive and physical therapies because of the brain injury. And then in 2021, I returned to Portland to cover some of the one-year anniversary riots related to after George Floyd died, and they suspected it was me, and I tried escaping, but they tackled me to the ground, beat me very severely, ripped a tendon in my knee, and I was hospitalized for that. So I've had a lot of up-close violence with them, in addition to dozens and dozens of death threats over the years, other attempts on my life that have been reported to the Portland police. And I had to leave Portland, Oregon because of the threats of violence and nothing happening.
Yeah, I spoke with you, I think it was 4 years ago, as you recant that story. And when I think of this movement, or these individuals that we're watching now, I think of you because you're known for documenting these attacks. You're known for going to these protests and met with the violence that you see the outcome of it here, of yourself suffering, hospitalized, not once but twice, as you stated on this program. And you've also showcased others that were physically harmed, shouted at, or made to feel to where they needed to leave. And you can't help but notice through your video, your lens, Andy, is that these individuals are always dressed in black. They're masked up. You don't know their identities. And that leads me to the question of seeing President Trump wanting to designate Antifa, this movement, as a terrorist organization domestically. How do you go about doing that with the pushback of many people saying, well, it's not an organized group? What do you say to that?
Well, they are organized networks. You can think of it like that. And there are certain organized groups. Rose City Antifa, for example, in my case, that was the official group in Portland that was involved in violent criminality against me and others. I think people need to also manage certain expectations about the announcement of the designation. So it's mostly, as a statement, is symbolic in the sense that in the U.S. legal framework, there's no actual category where a group that's declared a domestic terrorist group can then therefore be banned and membership of it banned. That's not allowed in the U.S. because of the First Amendment. However, I think with the very strong words that were used in the True Social announcement, it signals, in addition to what he said last week to a journalist, that he is directing his Department of Justice to prioritize breaking apart some of these networks. I think that has been a failure at the federal level during the first administration in 2020, for example. The then U.S. Attorney General, as far as I know, really did no effort to pursue any conspiracy charges at the federal level or other charges that could have really broken up some of these networks. And there's lots of tools legally that can be done currently. We don't need new legislation that can be used to tackle some of these diffuse and amorphous, decentralized domestic terrorist individuals and cells and groups.
Right. Yeah. Look, this, this all comes as well, Andy, in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, I want to talk about a text message as well, that an exchange that shows that the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin admitted to taking a shot at him. Utah County Attorney Jeffrey Gray is accusing Tyler Robinson, the accused assassin of Charlie Kirk, of sending a text message to his roommate saying that he had a chance to take him out, and he did it. Listen to this.
On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
Now, the roommate allegedly responded back saying, "What? You're joking, right?" according to the prosecutors. And then Robinson wrote back saying, "I am okay. I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet." Now, what do you make of this exchange between the two individuals here?
Well, further in the communication, you can see that Mr. Robinson allegedly wrote, "Do you remember the engravings that I was doing?" That stood out to me. And the fact that that first line of communication that was released between the two happened on the 10th of September, allegedly immediately after the shooting had happened or very soon after. And the roommate / trans lover apparently did nothing with that information in terms of contacting law enforcement. And that was made actually pretty clear at a press conference yesterday involving somebody in the sheriff's office who clarified that it was the family of the suspect who turned him in and actually drove him literally to law enforcement. So in bringing this back to Antifa, it was actually Antifa in some ways that brought Charlie and I together back in 2019 when I first met him, because Charlie and his team reached out after I was very badly beaten and invited me to TPUSA conference where I was too shy to speak, but they nevertheless insisted that I go on stage and they wanted to give me an applause and a thanks. And in the years since, the 6 years, various Charlie Kirk events, TPUSA events at various universities have been attacked by people who associate themselves with Antifa. I was going through my reporting records last night, and I see over and over these threats that were put out with Antifa symbols and logos calling for attacks on this event, on that event, and it would happen. It would happen like at UC Davis. Several times they would come in the mask, in the black uniforms, and smash up the building. And so this attack, this assassination that happened to Mr. Kirk happened in the context of a history of those attacks, and there were Antifa propaganda and slogans written on the cartridges.
Yeah, Andy No bringing his documentation, his experience with that, and then linking obviously you attending and meeting Kirk. We do appreciate that and you sharing those details. Andy No, thank you.
Thanks, Andy.